Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. And when it's Wednesday, that means I'm on the website, katimorton.com. If you haven't gotten on there yet, I would recommend that you do. And I'm also on YouTube, so if you asked your questions on yesterday's video, gone through the comments, and I have two from each location online. So, without further ado, question number 1. Katie, why do I get attached to female caregivers like therapists or even teachers? Love you. It can be for many reasons. Obviously, everyone is different. And if you've had experience with this, as always, leave your comments below about it because we can help one another through our experiences. The main reasons that I find people get attached to therapists, teachers, people in their lives, and it tends to be one sex or the other. I've heard from many of you that you either have a crush on or feel like you've kind of fallen in love with your male therapist, or many of you feel very attached to your female therapist, or vice versa, or whatever the combination. And in my experience, I have found that some of my clients tend to get attached to people of a certain sex because they're really missing that adult figure in their life, or they missed that adult figure when they were younger. Even if you're older, you can still have this happening. And it's usually as a way to there was an old study done eons ago, and I'm glad that they can't repeat it, but it taught us a lot about the way that we attach, like attachment theory from when we're younger. And what they call it, they did it on monkeys, which I know is sad and it's terrible, and I can't even watch the videos anymore because I'm like, oh, it makes me want to cry. But they call it good enough mother. And if you want information on it, you can Google monkey test good enough mother, and they'll show you, like, if they pull monkeys away from their mother, they're not able to attach to that. And so they'll put like this cloth mother or this wire little figure mother thing in their cage, and they'll attach to it, and they feel attached. And so they say it's the good enough mother because their real mother is not available. They'll attach to something else. And I think for us as humans, it's the same thing. If we didn't have a mother or a father in our life that was a good figure or was even around, sometimes they're not even around, right? Then we find other people to attach to because we still need that figure in our life. And I find that to be the most common. The second thing that you may want to look into or talk to a therapist about is people with borderline personality disorder. Sometimes we tend to attach quickly to people because we're kind of looking for someone to help us feel more secure. And if you have more questions about borderline, you can search, I have that video in my on my channel. So search borderline personality disorder and you can listen to the criteria for diagnostic purposes, okay? Question number 2. How do I develop, or blah, blah, blah. That's not even the right question. How do I help overcome self-harm urges? I've been trying to stop for a few months, but now I just recently relapsed. I know it's normal, but it makes me really sad to see that I wasn't strong enough this time. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this is because a lot of you reach out and say, you know, I've been trying these coping skills that people talk about and it's just not enough. And then I end up giving in the end, and then I feel like shit and I do it all over again. It's this horrible cycle. And I would encourage, I'm going to call you all to arms. Let us know below what coping skills work for you, because I tell my clients anything from the basics like journaling, coloring, watching a show, calling a friend, to getting out of the house, just going somewhere. Leave your self-harm items at home and get out of the house. It all depends. And I always tell people to have daytime ones that you can do and nighttime ones, because we know sometimes the urges come more at nighttime and then we can't always call a friend or we can't get out of the house. There needs to be different things that we can do. So if you yourself have some tips and tricks about how to fight the urges, let us know. But on the therapist side about relapsing and trying to get back on track, it often will take like 5 or more different coping skills to overcome the one urge to self-harm. So be patient with it. And remember that recovery is a process. We're going to slip up. We're going to mess up. We're going to do it again. But it's all about how we recover from those slip-ups and changing that conversation that we have for ourselves in our heads from saying, I'm such a messed up idiot, I can't do this, blah, whatever garbage that it's telling you, into, you know, I'm human, this is hard, I've been doing this for a long time, it didn't happen overnight, I can't stop it overnight, and I'm just going to fight again next time, and I'm going to learn from each time I don't succeed what I can do better next time, right? We're just working on stuff. It's like we're working on ourselves and we're building a whole new set of coping skills, okay? So I know it's hard, but stay with it because it does get easier as the period of time between slip-ups gets longer, and the way that we change how we talk to ourselves can really help along the way, okay? Question number 3. All right, so I have been friends with my best friend for the past 5 or so years. She's been there for my lowest of lows and some of my highs of high, or my higher highs. But lately, all we seem to do is butt heads when it pertains to certain topics of discussion. I love her to death, but I want to kill her figuratively. I am kind of leaning towards ending this friendship because that is how different our points of view have become, and she would rather listen to a podcast instead of actually hear me out. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Now, first of all, it all depends on what the situation is. If some of you are having trouble with friends and it's like on one issue, then maybe just don't talk about that one topic, because if it doesn't mean that much to you as a person, if it's not like, I don't believe in God and she believes in God and that's a big deal to you, then I would just avoid that topic. But if it is a big deal, and it sounds like in this scenario it is a big deal, there are a couple of things. There are, number one, I talk about toxic friends and toxic people in a video way blast from the past, like way back in my first like few months of doing videos, but I still think that it pertains to today, and I would encourage you to look that up if you haven't watched that. If you're a newer viewer, search toxic friends on my channel, because sometimes we outgrow one another, right? That's why people don't stay friends for their whole lives all the time. And that's why people get divorced. And that's why people break up, is oftentimes instead of choosing to stick together and hear each other out and have full conversations and you grow together in the same direction, sometimes people choose not to and they slowly split. And all of a sudden we'll realize that you're over here and they're over there and it's just not working anymore. And so you can either have a conversation with them about it, but it sounds like maybe they won't hear you out. But for some of you who are having a similar situation, I would encourage you to have a conversation. You can practice ahead of time and have your bullet points about what you want to say. But if you think the friendship has just grown, it's outgrown where it's supposed to be, like you've outgrown it and it no longer, fits your life, I think it's okay to let some space get in between you and that friend, and then have a conversation about the fact that sometimes you feel all you do is argue and it's easier not to see them because you don't really feel like arguing. And actually having the conversation about maybe taking some space and some time. I know it sounds like we're like breaking up, but that's the way you have to with friends. Like you have to break up with a friend. Just the way that we kind of like date friends. We go to coffee and we see how we like them. It's the same thing. It's relationships, right? So maybe it's about time to have that kind of breakup conversation and let her know that you love her and you love what you've had, but that at this point you feel that it's no longer a, amicable friendship. It's really difficult and it's stressing you out. She has to hear you out. And if she doesn't, that's just further evidence that maybe it's just not the right thing. We all have friends that we've outgrown over the years, and it's just part of life. So let me know how it goes, okay? And if any of you have dealt with this, let us know what worked best for you, okay? Now, question number 4. I've been in therapy for 3 years. I've decided that I want to recover, but what do I do next? How do I go about starting my recovery after being in therapy for so long? I would bring it up. That's what therapy's for, right? We talk and we jib-jab with our therapist, and I would say something to the effect of, I've really been struggling with self-harm or eating disorder or depression, and I really want to get better. Can we put together a treatment plan and a plan with each other where you hold me accountable so that I can start working on that? That's what I would say. Because that's what we do. We're going to work with you, and then we'll set up goals and treatment plans and just planning together on how to get from point A, where we are, to point F, where we want to get, or wherever, and all those steps in between. And that can kind of give you a roadmap and make you feel like you're on the right track, because that's usually what we need, is just that little bit of like, I'm on the right track. Yes. So, yeah, I hope that helps, because I know sometimes we're like, where do we start? Oh my God, I'm lost. So that's where I would start. And it's great that you already have a therapist. So now, journal topic is from Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Now, this is really cool, and I remember this from group eons ago, but I couldn't have told you what it stood for. But we used to say snap, like snap out of it. And snap is S, is surround yourself with supportive people that love you. N, notice how badly you feel in moments of self-doubt and self-sabotage. A, allow yourself to feel emotion for a moment and then immediately let go of it, like a balloon. Whoop, let it go. And P, persevere in your journey of self-love. Now, we're just going to do the S today because this is a definite take some time kind of thing, but surround yourself with supportive people that love you. And I thought this was perfect because in question 3, we talk about potentially toxic friends and people that may not jive with us anymore. And so let's take inventory of the people in our lives and who are supportive people and who are not, and who maybe we should reconnect with because they've always been supportive, and who maybe should we distance ourselves from for a while we heal and we persevere in our journey of self-love. So let me know how that goes. And yeah, I think that really helps, because I find the less toxic people around us, the better, and the weight off our shoulders, oh, I can finally breathe again. So let me know how that goes. And I'll see you all tomorrow. It's Thursday and I'll be on Twitter, so ask your questions there. Bye.